Hey guys, it's me. I'm just popping up on here, and apparently Chrome and Safari have changed a whole bunch, and it's really a bit of a debacle to get on live for some reason. So I'm on my phone. Sorry for it being a little dark, but I just wanted to come on because I just launched our new 9+1 running and correction program. Hey Ada. And I've also wanted to get on for post Q&A marathon injuries. So any questions or anything of that nature, you have pains, you have something happened to you on the marathon course, right now is when you want to comment, and hey Mayor, right now you want to comment, ask your questions. This is a live expert feed, so you can ask your questions for any injuries you're having post-marathon, and I'll answer them as I go. And while I'm waiting for those to pop through, I'm going to talk about the new program. So it's something we've been doing and thinking about setting up for quite some time, and we're really excited because it's an extended version. As most of you know, the Run Pain Free program is a program. It's not sessions. So it's a minimum of 6 months of a commitment that is made. Number one, first and foremost, to protect the program. We have 100% results, and I am very, very strict about that. And I'm very serious about my results. So I really do take the time, and therefore I need the time also given in reciprocity to me so that I can do my best work to get you into the next level. So to take an injured runner and create an athletic, conditioned athlete, it takes some time because we're rewiring basically how your body works. Hey Juan! So what we are doing with the 9+1 program is people who are just about to start doing the 9+1 in 2019 to then could do the 2020 NYC Marathon, which my girl Allison, hey, just confirmed that 2020 is the big 50 for New York, not next year because of the cancel in 2013 for Sandy. So the 9+1 running and correction program is going to be all encompassing to follow you through all of the races that begin in January and go all the way to the Staten Island half, which is the final qualifying race. So that's pretty much the entire year that we're going to work with you as you're running all those races. So it's very specific. It's exactly the same. It's going to be the correction as the regular Run Pain Free program, but it's extended, so it's pretty much almost the whole year. 1, 2, it's to train you during those races and condition you during those races to be ready for the 2020 marathon. So for those who are embarking on the 9+1 qualifying races in 2019 to run 2020, they will then be given privileged coaching in 2020 that I will lay out and talk to any of those people who want information on that for that. For those of you like my girl Marilyn, Run Pain Free Ambassador, that she actually she already qualified 2018 for 2019, and she's going to be running 2020, which most people are. Most people who did 2018 qualifying races to run 2019 are going to run 2020 because it's New York's 50. So we are offering it to those as well because of the 50 coming up. So those who have qualified already in this year, 2018, for 2019, you will be able to also do the 9+1 programming and running program, correction and running program as well. Obviously, they'll be a little different because you've already done all the races, so you're probably going to do a little less of those qualifying races this year or different ones. And again, it's to really work with you with correction and athletically conditioning you to sustain the entire year, injury-free, and build the endurance to do 2019 and 2020. So it's a big kahuna. Big kahuna. So that's what we are putting out there. So I don't want to make a big old long post like I did. That's as long as it's going to get. So I'd rather come on here and talk about it a little bit, ask any questions you guys have. Obviously, it's the same process. You have to come in, get a consult, work so I can see what your body is doing, what we need to do, and then we go from there. But it's going to be very specific for the 9+1, and this will continue from here on out. So, yay! I'm so excited. Okay, hi everybody coming on. So now anybody who's out there that ran the New York City Marathon, a lot of you guys are a little banged up. I'm hearing it, I'm seeing it, and people are contacting me. Not to mention I saw the course, and I saw more walkers than I have ever seen in Wave 1 in any marathon in my career. So I know the heat was a bit much, and I don't think a lot of people planned for it. I don't think you realized how much hotter the body gets when you're running in direct sun. Even though it's 50 degrees, it really feels like close to 80. So I think a lot of your bodies kind of took a lot of heat that you weren't expecting. And I saw a lot of craziness out there that I always see. You know, it's always something. At the first bit of craziness was always the ridiculous KT tape. But the compression socks have become very, very popular. Hey, Vet! Another Run Pain Free ambassador doing amazing. So I wanted to get on because there's always going to be misconceptions. There's always going to be information that can hurt you. And so I love to get on here and just talk and answer questions of people who really are getting misinformed and therefore getting injuries. I talked about it on one of my posts about a guy that I had helped at the marathon. He had compression socks on, which nobody should be using. And he actually stuck those little hand warmer heating pads into the back part of his calf underneath his compression sock. So when I got to him, he couldn't move. He said, my calves are cramping. I can't move. And I said, I'm going to rip your sleeves off. And he was like, that's fine. I was like, well, I'm doing it anyway. So as soon as I ripped him off, 2 packets fell out. And I said, you just created a really big problem, because what happens is when you have a sleeve on your calf, right? God, I hope to God that's not on the whole foot, but let's just say it's just on the calf, okay? You're restricting blood flow in that area. So you're saying, hey, leg, you don't have to contract muscles to actually generate circulation and blood flow, especially specific to athletic activity level of blood flow you need for everything to be going and pumping properly. You actually stop that. And it's the squeezing that makes you feel like it's doing something, or it actually hides calf pain, which most of you need to be addressing instead of hiding it. So that's why when you rip them off, your legs go into immediate cramping or sharp pains. It's because there hadn't been proper blood flow the whole time you were running, and then you ran on it. So now this guy stuck packets in the back of it. So he was saying, you better generate blood flow, calf, but hey, sock, keep it here. So he generated all this blood flow via heat, because heat generates blood flow, and then restricted it with these, with the sock, the calf sleeve. And when he hit, no blood was getting anywhere else. That was suffice for athletic ability in a marathon. So when he saw me by mile 22, he could not move. His legs were cramping. He wasn't feeling much because it was all this blood flow that was locked up. So when I ripped it down, it was immediate gush and immediate like a surge of blood. And he really couldn't even do like a walking knee drive. And that's all because somewhere along the line, somebody said to him that you could keep, these socks are going to generate blood flow. Wrong. And the heat generates blood flow. So let me put 2 and 2 together and get the maximized amount of blood flow. But you guys need to realize, I don't know how you don't realize how tight these sleeves are. They're extremely tight. They are very gripping around the top and the ankle. And that, it's big, if you put a rubber band around your finger, right, it stops circulation, right? So you have to apply that same principle to these socks. They're very, very restrictive. Athletes who make millions and millions of dollars use them because they are good for recovery in terms of forcing blood flow to one area, if you will. There are very specific reasons why a professional athlete would use them, none of which that applies to you all. None of which that applies to you all. Okay? You guys have to train your bodies to circulate proper blood flow for athleticism. It's not saying you have a circulation issue. That is not the case. We're talking athletes here. You guys are athletes. It's about time you start realizing it, okay? Marathon runners are athletes. You guys do amazing training. You do the same training as elites. You're an athlete. You have to start training your body like one. When you do, all this extra stuff gets thrown out. It's all the waste. You don't need it. You need your body to work properly, and that's what Run Pain Free does. It gets your body working properly. Figure out what your issues are. Sometimes it takes a while, but you're going to get fixed. You're going to get corrected. You're going to feel better. You're going to be more efficient, and you're going to be faster. Not by force, by athleticism, by conditioning. So I wanted to come on and just give an open forum for questions. Hi, my little mini me. Hi, little P. Hi, Felice. I wanted to get on and offer up some questions and just spark in your ears to ask me questions about things, any pains that you're having, and go on. And I have a couple coming in. So sharp pains, jabbing sharp pains, rubber band restrictive pains, that's all in root of the IT band. You have the IT band's movement pattern, which basically touches all your major joints, and whatever joint is being grazed or touched by the IT band is therefore dictated by the IT band. So foam rolling is essential, like I come on here all the time. You can't just foam roll once a week. You have to foam roll every day. If you want to be a runner and you want to be an athlete, you need to start acting like one. And athletes roll every day. Athletes work out every day. Athletes take rest every week. No one, and it's regimented, and it's built in, and it's planned out for reasons so that they don't get injured, guys. So where you guys get to go, where the elites get to go home and go to sleep, you guys go to work. You have families, you have events, you have vacations, you have things you need to do where you can't sit at home and rest and go to sleep. You have things to do. So the more conditioned your body is for your choice of athleticism, that being running, the better you can function in daily life without an issue. And Run Pain Free is about you running pain free 100%. But we're really, really looking at how you recover. Did you recover? Did you get up and go to work the next day? Were you fine? Because my people were walking down the steps with not much of a problem. Run Pain Free runners were up and going at it the next day. Even if they had something a little weird, it was nothing stopping them from doing their normal life the next day. But pretty much everybody was good to go. And that's because it's called conditioning. There's a difference. Training and conditioning are two very different things. It's time you start conditioning your body for the level that you want to run at, so that you can run when you want to run, no matter when you want to run. It's not dictated by anything but your athleticism and your own conditioning. So that's why the 9+1 program is, I'm launching it now. I was going to wait, but we're launching it now, so that we can get a head start on it. Also, once it's available right now with early bird launching, because it wasn't going to launch until January. So it's only going to be at these early bird bonuses and all this stuff until December 25th. After that, it'll be regular for everybody and everything there moving forward. So it's also really good. It's one of the first options we've ever given to allow somebody to buy it for someone else as a gift. So that's also something new as well that we've really not done before. So that's why I wanted to get on and talk about it and give the idea of what's behind the whole extended program, and very specific to the 9+1, because we're going to go race by race with you. And we do that anyway with the Run Pain Free program, but this we're going to actually do the running program with it. So you're going to have correction and the running program with it. So we're going to not work out what works for you, where you want your body to be, where you want to be running, what you want to be running at, all of those things. And we do running programs for people all the time, but it's on a request basis. So this is very specific to the 9+1 and seeing you through all those races up front. So right up the cuff, you're starting on the races. We're going to have your list of races. We're going to match them. We're going to do the correction with that, know where we got to get to where we're getting to, and stay with you the whole time. So it's going to be more full of the year. And that's why I'm on here now talking about everything. Because the more conditioned runners we provide, the more runners we will have. And everybody should be running because it's the best stressor, de-stressor, mental release that anybody could have in the world. And anybody can do it. Anybody should be doing it. Everybody can be doing it. And running is the epitome of what the human body is created to do. We're made to walk. We're made to move. And run pain-free is biomechanics. And we want the human bodies moving. And that's what we're here. Keep moving, keep living. And that's what we want to go for. So in order to create more and more, in order for us to create more and more conditioned athletes from injured runners, we want to go along the lines of the 9+1 and really create an actual program that suits that. So I have some questions coming in I see here on my other screen. Foot pain. Not all foot pain is plantar fasciitis, guys. Not all foot pain. And again, plantar fasciitis is tight calves, rooted in the IT band, not allowing you to push off. And if you can't push off, the firing of your calf doesn't happen, and it stays in a contracted position, so you never get the flex and extension of the calf muscles, and so it stays like a solid rock. So don't always jump to conclusions that you have plantar fasciitis. That's not always the case just because you have some foot pain. Always start with rolling your arches, sticking your calf, sticking your Achilles, and then doing a walking lunge. So you're forcing the stretch of your foot as you're doing something weighted. Like a lunge is a perfect way to weight your leg without any extra weight but your body weight. And it's single leg action, if you will. So it's a really good tester. But calf, you need to look at your sneakers. If you're having any foot pain, you need to look at your sneakers. You need to see, are your sneakers mobile? You guys really need to start paying attention to this because people are still buying stability sneakers and I do not understand why. I do not get it. You guys, your feet are your hips. I just had this wonderful woman who we met before the marathon I didn't get to see her, but I saw her on the course, and then she saw me afterwards. And she's got a lot of hardware in her feet. I'll keep her nameless unless she wants to say who she is. But she's got a lot of hardware in her feet. And with bunion surgery, and then they actually twisted her ankle to straighten her foot out and create an arch with a screw in the back of her heel. And she ran the marathon with back pain. And I explained to her that her back pain was because her ankles and her feet are her hips. So when the doctor forced her feet to go from here to here, he forced her hip function too and never trained them. So now she has back pain because pretty much the majority of back pain is all referred hip pain. So good. Okay, see, no, Yvette is one of our Run Pain Free ambassadors, and she just ran the Richmond Marathon. And her calf, she's had calf pain. She's had push-off issues. Now, Yvette's been through 2 years of the program in and around it. And we really went in on a different level this past running season for her. And I did her running program as well. I really like to map out how your body adjusts to running. And as I work, just the same way I correct the body, and I get feedback from you doing the run and coming back, doing the run and coming back with correction. It's how we adjust the program to constantly follow what your body is changing and how your body's adjusting. Because week 1 is nothing like week 4 on phase 12. It's a totally different body I'm looking at. So we really do the same thing when it comes to running. So with her, we finally, once we get through all of your correction, guys, the root that caused all of your problems will show itself. And that's when everything else, all of the injuries that you were feeling leading to that are fixed and corrected. We backtrack from the most recent pain you're feeling all the way back to the original root, and it'll always expose itself. And the way we know that that's what it is when it becomes stubborn. And Yvette's calf has become stubborn. So I had been thinking that that's where it was rooted because she has some other actual injuries from impact. But impact injuries and injuries from running and biomechanics are very different and need to be treated differently. Nicole, I'm going to answer your question in one sec. So now we've got it all the way pretty much narrowed down to this one spot, and it's not pushing off. And like I've shown you guys, if you put your hand right outside your calf, high calf, you'll feel a bone that jets out. That's where the IT band inserts, but that's also where push off is. And that's where a lot of restriction is happening, because wherever the tissue is, it's dictating the mobility of that joint. So the tissue is near the knee joint, and the surrounding muscles are the calf. So if the knee joint is restricted, the joint dictates the firing of the muscle. So if the joint can't fire, the muscles can't fire and activate for said movement. I hope you're staying with me. I hope you're understanding what I'm saying. So because there's a restriction of her IT band at that joint, the calf muscle has had a little bit of a annoyance in pushing off. Now it's coming and going, but it's still in that one spot, and it wasn't allowing her to push off to her ability in the Richmond Marathon. So now it's reared its ugly head, like it's not moving, it's staying there. I have to address that aggressively now, because it's finally showing me what it is. But I also am confident in the rest of her mechanics and the rest of her body in correction that I can now address this. When you try to address the root of the injury without addressing all the fallout that came from that injury, that probably was years and years and years, you can cause an injury. You have to backtrack it in and address every little itty bitty twinge, tweak, injury, pain, and discomfort before you even get to that. That's why it's a process. That's why there's a science to it. You can't just go over there and rip the Band-Aid off. No. Now, do I get right to wherever you're feeling pain? 110%. I'm not playing these games. I'm also an expert in what I do, so I know what I'm doing, to be able to reveal and pull, so everything can be exposed. And once the body feels like it's trusted, the body then can start to show you, hey, I'm hurt over here. Hey, I'm hurt over here. So with Yvette, she doesn't have plantar fasciitis. She has a very specific calf area that is being restricted, and it's the final piece to her puzzle that we're going to now deal with head on. Now, Nicole asked, Achilles tendonitis, plantar fasciitis, and ankle pain since July. Beyond help? Absolutely not. And whoever told you that is ridiculous. First of all, Achilles tendonitis is crap. Anything with itis is crap. Achilles tendonitis, all itis means, I have some light in here. All itis means is it's immobility or improper mobility of the joint. Move properly, you have no itis. You have no itis. Plantar fasciitis is tight calves. Plantar fasciitis is rooted in your IT band. Your IT band dictates the mobility of your knee, at your knee joint. That's where it's inserting. So because it's being pulled all the way up from that hip and then across your back to the opposite shoulder, every time you come say you have plantar fasciitis, Nicole, on your right foot, okay? Every time you pull your left shoulder, you pull on and restrict your right knee. So then your right knee doesn't hinge properly because the IT band is dictating mobility at that joint, at the knee. So now because you don't have that, everything around that, right underneath that knee is restricted, and that's where push off is. So if you can't have push off, you don't have hip flexion. So every time you try to run, you're using the front part of your shin, and your quad to run, as opposed to your foot, your arch, your calf, and your butt. Very different muscles are being used. So you set up an entire dysfunctional pattern that is settling below the knee. And if you're basically, all of your running is coming from below your knee, not anywhere else. All the meat in your legs, your butt, your core, your torque, none of that's working. It's just below your knee. So you're classic, right? So what happens is you have no push off. So you have no calf flex and extension. So the calf stays locked up and the ankle doesn't do this. So now your hip isn't flexing, so you're not bringing your leg back, so your whole gait goes off. So now because the calf isn't working, it starts to go to the front and say, hey, front, you do you work, because she didn't foam roll, so I have no release at the joint, so the calf can't work. So now you have shin splints. That's how shin splints actually start. They start because your IT band restricted your calf from firing, and the next defaulted muscle is the anterior tibialis. So now that front muscle starts to overwork. Now shin splints are never constant. They're on and off because they keep going back to the calf saying, are you going to do your job sometime today? And the calf's like, no, she didn't foam roll. So the calf, then once the shin gets conked out because it's tired of shin splints, it goes to your Achilles. Now your whole run sits in your Achilles. Now you have Achilles tendonitis. Tendonitis then pulls on the back of your heel. Heel insertion starts to happen. Then you have arch pain. Now you have plantar fasciitis. All because you couldn't push off, which is coming from the outside of your calf, right below where the IT band inserts. Start foam rolling immediately. Yeah, Nicole, it's an easy fix. Someone who told you that otherwise is ridiculous. But this is the problem. People in the medical profession don't know their limits. They have limits. Medicine does great things. They do amazing things. They can treat amazing diseases and clone cows, but they're not mobility people. That's people like me. We're movement experts. We're biomechanic experts. We're injury experts. I know what makes the body work, and if it's not working, I know how to backtrack it to figure out what part of the system isn't working so I can fix that. That's me. It's learning how to know your limits and refer out. I don't do surgery. I refer out. If I need an image, I refer out. You need to go to this doctor to get an image so I can see what the structure is so I can go from there. It's knowing your limits. Now, we all have them. But the problem is doctors don't like to admit that generally. And so they'll be like, you got itis or you got a syndrome, and that means you have it forever. I've been hit by a truck as a pedestrian, not in a car. I have injuries head to toe. I would not be sitting at this table, literally. I would not be sitting here talking to you if I wasn't a product of what I do for a living. The reason I do what I do for a living is because I'm a product of it. And I was already this product when I got hit by the truck, and I wasn't aware that I could fix myself because I too went to doctors. But after 51 MRIs, it was time for me to figure out what me and my partner, our expertise in everything we had learned up until that point in FMS, in training and athleticism and dance and biomechanics and everything we had learned up to that point is what fixed me. So it's a curriculum that's been going on now for about 11 years specifically, but it had been built on of 30 years of experience. So Nicole, you are not, no, because PT doesn't correct, PT rehabs. And then you go right back to the doctor and then they send you right back to PT. I used to work in PT. That's it. They do great things, but correcting people is not one of them, which is why I did not decide to go back for my doctor of physical therapy that I was invited to at NYU to do. I decided not to because I actually correct people, and I'm highly against people who don't correct people. Yes, Lacey, they do. And again, post-surgery, PT is great. They get in there, they break up scar tissue, and they get you mobile. But once you're mobile, that needs to come to me. I'm the one that's going to biomechanically train your body properly. I cannot tell you how many people I see that I'm like, look, if you don't get this corrected, you're going to break something. They don't get corrected, they break it, they go through surgery, they go through PT, and come back to me at the end of it, and the problem that I saw before all of that is still there. I still have to correct the issue because surgery does not correct the issue. It band-aids what broke. That's all it does. So rehab and correction are very specific words, and they need to be respected. They're very different. So no, PT's not going to get that. And I've had PTs refer me people who get it, and that's cool. And I'll refer people to those PTs who need it post-surgery. Like, I mean, it's just understanding that we all have limits. Biomechanics is my expertise. Injuries is my expertise. We've done nothing but dedicate our lives to this craft, literally. So I'm very, very, very strong about my expertise and what I know and how I know it and why my results are at the level that they're at. I hope that helps. Yes, Yvette, a PT guy came to me in the park while I was training. Yvette says he sees me there all the time when he runs by, and he wanted my card so he could refer people to me who needed biomechanics and athletic training. That's appreciation. So the sidebar is what I do is not covered by insurance because we're not lucrative for insurance companies. We take you out of the medical loop. Doctors feed PT, PT feeds you back to a doctor, because all PT is allowed to do is what the doctor sent the prescription over. So if the doctor sent the prescription over for a right hamstring, but the real root of that right hamstring is the left hip, they're not going to touch your left hip. They're going to futz around with your left hamstring, and then you're going to go back to the doctor, and then in 6 months you're going to have more pain because the imbalance was made even worse by focusing on the wrong thing to begin with, and you go right back to PT and you do it again. That's why people come to me from all of these areas, and why I require anybody who is broken come to me immediately, because I need to correct the pattern that allowed you to get broken in the first place. Not wait till the bone recalcifies. Now you have scar tissue around the bone that recalcified, working in the same pattern that caused it to break in the first place. No way, Jose. I need to see you while you're cracked and broken and torn up. That's what I need to see you, because I need to see how you move with that problem so I can fix it. That's how that works. I hope that makes sense. Yes, Jessica, you need to just message me and let's get you a new consult so we can see what's going on. I understand. This is not, I'm not a quick fix. I'm a lifelong fix. That's a decision you make when you come into the program. It's not a quick fix. It's a lifelong fix. I'm looking to fix you for life. And then when I fix you and I correct you, you went from just wanting to run that 5K or that 10K or that one marathon to now you want to be a triathlete and you want to do an Ironman or you want to run international marathons. That's what happens when you actually feel the trust of your body and you know the potential that your body actually has. Then your goals start to change and your whole world opens up as an active person. It's amazing to watch this. It's amazing to watch, to give people that. I get so proud of watching somebody have such a small goal, and it's the biggest goal they've ever had in their life, and then they do it and they're like, I want to do like 10 times that, because they have trust in their body to do so. It's an amazing feeling to do, to have with them. So I really do pride myself on that. So you're not out of it at all. Night splints, Nicole. I'm not sure what you mean by night splints, but if that means you're putting a splint on your leg in the nighttime, you need to stop. Oh God, I lose my mind with plantar fasciitis. I swear I do, because it's such a money maker for doctors, and it annoys the hell out of me. Please tell me you're not in Brooks. Also, Nicole, if you're in a stability sneaker, you need to throw them out right now. Throw them out, because they're causing problems. And the bigger problem is already happening at your hip. You just don't feel it yet because they're stuck in your sneaker, but it's already happening at your hip. So stop it before it becomes a real issue. Well, it's already an issue. Yes, whatever you just said. Yes. So here's the thing. Let's be logical, okay? Let's be logical, because my business is very logical. If your foot is painful, right? Because it's sitting like this, right? So this is the foot. What sense does it make to force the foot to stay in a straight position? To force it to stay in the straight position, you're creating a completely different and total new injury. by holding it in another position. The problem is there's no movement. You need movement. You need blood flow. You need to be foam rolling. You need to be sticking the hell out of your foot, golf balling the arch of your foot, golf balling your calf, sitting on your calf, sticking the outside of your calf, sticking the Achilles, and then moving, and then going, and then running, and then walking, and then doing lunges, and then doing step-ups. You need to move that. You need to strip all this restriction out of your foot. The reason why you have pain in your foot at all is because it's restricted. It's being locked up, and your body is giving you red flags to please stop this. It's hurting me. And instead of listening, you're band-aiding it up more. You're restricting it up more. That has to stop. That's a big problem. That has to stop. So I strip out orthotics. I pull out compression sleeves. I pull out, I pull out the foot completely out of any stability sneaker because I need blood flow to stop pain. That's the first step with any foot plantar fasciitis pain, is to get blood flow. Getting a shot in your foot does absolutely nothing. Why? Because the foot pain you're feeling is result of dysfunction from way up top, from your IT band. You're only feeling it in your foot. It's only result of. So why would you put something into the bottom of your foot when that's not even where it's coming from? It's literally like getting cut on your arm and bleeding profusely, but you're putting the Band-Aid on your thigh. That's the logic of all of these things that doctors give to you for plantar fasciitis. When I have fixed plantar fasciitis in people in less than 4, I'm being nice by saying less than 4 sessions, because I know I have fixed it in 1 hour. Like I have thousands of people I have worked on that I know I've done that. Now, if you're not going to listen to me, then your plantar fasciitis will linger 100%. If you're stuck on your sneakers, if you're not doing your homework, if you're not coming in and you're not following up, yeah, it's going to linger. But when you listen to me and you follow the program and you follow the regimen I give you that is very specific, plantar fasciitis goes away like this. And then we have mechanics that we can mess with, and we can fire, and we can strengthen, and we can address, and we can expose, right? Because the terrain in which you choose to run on, treadmill, gravel, trail, or road, has zero to do with your pain. Your pain has nothing to do with anything but you. You're a problem. You're dysfunctional. You have issues in your body that need to be addressed. Deal with them, and you can run anywhere. You can run anywhere, on anything. Nothing affects you when you become functional. That said, the only problem treadmills have is because they subconsciously make you shorten your stride. Because your proprioceptors, your knowledge of what is around you, energy-wise, closeness, how far things are from you, your proprioceptors know you're on a belt. So you naturally shorten your stride so your body doesn't trip up and fall off of a belt. When you shorten your stride, you lock up your hamstrings. They are not able to fully come up from behind and extend forward, come up from behind and extend through the back of your knee. You don't do that. You shorten up and you shorten forward. You shorten up and you shorten forward. That's how you get injured on a treadmill. That's how you get hamstring tweaks on treadmills. This becomes high during cold months and seasons in training, where people tend to be running on treadmills more. I case studied them, hamstring strains specifically, for several years, a few years ago, and this is what my data revealed. They're mostly found in women, and on, more specifically, women who run on treadmills. Men get them, yes, but as a majority, that's the majority of it. If we take out the women, it's a treadmill issue for hamstring tweaking. So that's the only thing that a treadmill really is a problem for, is it is very high level risk of hamstring tweaking, okay? But in terms of terrain, your body is how you run. What you put on your feet, the wheels of your body, will then limit and or nurture your body mechanics. Because that's your tool. Your sneakers are your tool. Your sneakers should be like a stick shift. If your sneakers don't allow you to dictate where your foot is going, it's not a sneaker for a runner. You need to be feeling like you are dictating your run by way of your feet. You need to feel that push off. Feel that, push off. You want to feel it, you want to hear it dictating what you're doing. When you lose that ability, you lose the sensory of your feet. When you lose the sensory of your feet, you're blind to the amount of issues going on down there that's already happening in your hip. Now, most people know when they come to me with the hip pain, they're immediately on my severe list. Immediately. Why? Because everything for a runner comes from their hips and glutes. So if the hip joint is not being supported by the glute, everything else down and up is screwed. Screwed. So if you're already feeling it there, that's a severe issue. I have to aggressively address that, and I'm aggressive anyway, but I aggressively get at hips. So, but if you're coming to me with foot pain, anything below the knee, I already know it's at your hip. It's rooted in the IT, but I already know there's a dysfunction happening in your hip that I want to prevent at all costs, because I promise you, I broke my hip and I broke my femur where the hip and the femur meet. You do not want that pain. I didn't crack it. I broke it. The stress fracture means something is stressed over time. Stressed over time. It's been stressed to cracking. Very different from break. Very different. So I promise you don't want to feel that pain. And anybody who has felt any kind of back and hip pain will attest to this. It's not a pain you want to deal with. It's very deep. It's a very bone aching pain that you feel like will never go away. So I address that very, very specifically. Now, if I go back to Yvette, Yvette had a direct impact injury to her hip years ago. So that's going to, from that point on, affect how her feet hit the ground, because the feet and the hips speak. They're synonymous in terms of movement. So if you don't have any ankle flexion, you have no hip flexion. So when you buy a Brooks and you buy a stability sneaker and you lock your foot up and you think you're going to go run 26.2 miles, good luck, because you're not going to have any hip flexion the whole time. And then your calves lock up and you start running forward and you're leaning forward and you're just shuffling along and your toe striking and you're jamming into your toes and your calves start killing you and your feet start killing you and your quads start to lock up and the burning is going on and your legs stiffen up, and then, yeah, that's what happens. That's what happens when you lock up your gait. So sneakers need to allow your feet to move. If your foot cannot move in your sneaker, you need to move on to a new sneaker. That was a lot to answer Nicole's question, but I did. I hope that answers your question, Nicole. Jessica, walking is difficult. No. See, that's a problem for me. When people are in PT care and still saying that at this point her walking is difficult and she's in care at PT, I have a moral and ethical problem with that. Because people who have worked with me, who've even just met me or come to my events, know that I go really, really, really hard to make sure you're completely fixed, that you're corrected. There's no short change on my accommodating and giving to my clients. Nothing. I go above and beyond, and I pride myself on that. I just need you to show up so I can fix you. But on my end, I go above and beyond, and you don't leave my care until you're fixed. It's that simple. It's really that simple. So to hear that this year alone, I've had a lot of clients come to me that were in PT care and then got injured. I have a big problem with that. I don't know. At no point should anybody be in care and then get injured several months into it. Now, at several months into it, you should be fine. In my opinion, you should be fine or on your way to being fine in order for you to do that. So that's a problem, Jessica. You need to come and see me. At no point should you be feeling pain like that if you're in care. You need to come and see me and let's figure it out. Felicia is getting sharp pain in her left hip and butt, and it's worse when she's walking. Now, Felicia is my youth leader. She's a Run Pain Free ambassador. She is a freshman in high school. She is the captain of her track team, of her cross country team, freshmen's girls team. or the freshman team. I want to make sure I'm speaking clearly. She's got awards out the wazoo. She's a Roadrunners Youth Ambassador as well. And she is my little mini me. I mentor her, and she is a leader of my Run Pain Free Athletic Youth Foundation, which is for promising elite athletes. That is a nonprofit organization. She's a part of that as well, so that we can get these kids scholarships for both high school and college, and longevity of careers, healthy. And she's telling me that she has left hip and butt pain. So Felicia, I'm gonna need you to golf ball your piriformis right now. Now this would be happening privately on text message, just so everybody knows. But since she's on, I'm gonna tell her you need to go golf ball your piriformis right now in the 4 stretch, and sit on it. Follow that with a foam roller. And then you need to text me and tell me how you feel. I need you to do activation and cross back lunges. She knows what all that is. But see, this is what I'm saying. It's a level of care that we give our runners, and we require time with us because we give that much of ourselves. So that's why it's a big deal. And my ambassadors are also a part of the program. They're very well versed in it. I will put them up to anybody in the field with education, because their injury education and biomechanics education is something people just don't get in random world gyms and whatever today. Yeah, Felicia, go do it right now. Hey, Lawrence. So I hope that I'm making some sense with you guys, and I hope that this is helping. But this is why we're launching the 9+1 this week. It's to really get you guys ahead of your injuries. Get ahead of your injuries. I can't tell you how many people I get now, November, December, that did the 9+1 all year long, and then they got injured, and they're about to run 2019, and they're like, what am I going to do now? I just got injured. So it really made me start thinking, and Daniel mentioned it and was like, you know what, I think we should go along lines with that because it's coming up a lot. And he was right. So we formulated this great new program, and we're really excited because it really does follow you guys through the whole process of 9+1. And we really do get a lot of runners that get injured during the 9+1 and then defer. They defer the marathon they qualified for. So it's really a special program, and we're really excited about it to get it out there and start January 1 with everybody. But this is early bird special and really get people ahead of their injuries. So this way you have us through the whole time, and you are going to run that 2020-50 New York City Marathon year. You're going to run that with no problem. Anybody who's already done it for 2018 and is qualified, it's also applicable to you, because you still need to stay healthy for 2019. And a lot of you have come to me injured from the 9+1 for 2018 and are already concerned about running the 2019 marathon because you've gotten injured running the 9+1 dysfunctionally and or not athletically conditioned. I can't tell you how many runners, one of my runners, Natsan, great runner. She was messaging me like bananas for her first New York City marathon. She's run other things. She's ran another marathon, but she never ran New York City. And she was really concerned that she wasn't running enough the last week of running because everybody around her was still running and was still doing all these miles. And she was pretty much just resting, doing her work with me and just resting. And I texted her and I said, you are athletically conditioned. Most of these runners, and I'm being nice by saying most, are not athletically conditioned. They've relied solely on running and mileage to run a marathon, and that's not athletic training. It's not. You're tiring yourself out when you're running 6 days a week, guys. I'm very sorry, but you are. Especially with work, life, family, you're exhausting yourself. By the time you get to the big stage, you're friggin' tanked. You are tanked. Nicole, no way. You don't defer. You already deferred? Don't defer. You come see me. You're already tanked. So when you athletically condition yourself, you're way ahead of the game. There's no thing as a wall. None of my runners hit walls. They don't hit walls because they're conditioned. They know how to use hills. They know how to use flat. It's athletic conditioning, guys. It's very different. And it's about time you guys get really understanding that. So Natsan, she was like, okay, you made me feel better. I'm okay. It wasn't until she finished the marathon with a 45-minute PR that she understood what athletic conditioning meant. She's been through the program. She's been with me all year. She's gone all year. And it wasn't until she finished the program and she was like, now I understand what an athlete means as opposed to a runner, and the conditioning difference. It's a very big difference. Very big difference. You do half the training runs, half the weekly mileage with conditioning, and you're so much more efficient. You're faster. You're not injured. You're not in pain. And your body can withstand the marathon and continue to get faster. 45-minute PR. 45 minutes. It's a big deal. Athletic conditioning is where it's at, and I want you guys to get there. Now, what we do is, because we're injury focused, we're corrective focused, so we correct you and athletically condition you simultaneously, in a sense, because we have that amount of time to find the injuries, correct the injuries, and then athletically condition your new pattern that we correct and create. We then condition that pattern to be an athlete. That's what separates Run Pay Free runners from everybody else. That's what separates that. And the 9+1 program is really going to set that apart. I really hope with the 9+1 program, my hope is to save hundreds of runners that get hurt doing 9+1 and defer the marathon that they finally qualified for. They, run themselves ragged all year doing all these races and getting up early and getting there and training for them and running for them. And then they defer what they were working for. The whole thing they're working for is one race, and they defer it because they got injured. That's crap. So I really want the 9+1 to be a great, effective tool for every runner out there. That's what I really want. I really want the 9+1 tool to keep all the runners in that 9+1 training pocket healthy, educated, pain-free, and conditioning them for that race that they're running all the 9+1 for in the first place. So the 9+1 run pain-free program and correction is a huge program that's got tons of bonuses to come along with it. And really it's going to just eliminate the amount of injuries that happen pre-marathon. When you're all running to run this marathon in the first place, it's just crazy that so many people get injured and wind up not running it. Nicole, what race you're saying you deferred and you're concerned, but did you already defer 2019 or did you defer this year? If you deferred this year, let's get you on, let's get you in for a consult and let's see. And wherever you are, guys, we do onlines as well. Oh, you deferred 2018. So you're set to run 2019. You're totally fixable. I wish you would have come to me. I really do, because we could have gotten you through that. Perfect. So then come and see me and we'll get that together. So the Run Pain Free program is a 6-month program, period. I need time to find your injuries, correct them, retrain the movement pattern, and then athletically condition you. And you're running the whole time. Most runners come to me because I never stop them from running. I need you to be doing the sport so it gives me the biofeedback that I need to continue to follow your body's adjustments and corrections, because adjustments happen real time. Just foam rolling releases your hips from strain. So that just starts to adjust right there. So I'm like a fly on your body, and I really stay on it to follow it. All the adjustments that happen, I jump on it right away, because if you don't address the adjustments right away and nurture them right away, you could create other injuries. So in order to protect the program's 100% result ratio, your timing, and my being able to accommodate you, I need at least 6 months. Most people do 2+ rounds, but it's a minimum of 6 months. But the consult is complimentary, because I don't believe it's ethical to charge anybody before I actually assess your body and actually know what is going on with your body, and then how you respond to the correction. I'm very serious about that because it's very much an interactive working. Like we go, you go, we go, you go. That's how it happens. It's very interactive, and we're in contact every single day. This is not a one-off and go. We're in contact 24/7, and everybody that's worked with me will share that with you. I have 50 text messages every 10 minutes. That's because I'm waiting to hear who's adjusting, when they're adjusting, what they feel, or if they feel fine. I want to know. I want to know about it. So to continue to provide that level of service, I do need the commitment back. So that's what that is. So there's tons of videos on my page, runpainfreenow.com, that explain the program, that explain, they have frequently asked questions, testimonials, all of the Run Pain Free ambassadors write-ups are there, and I case studied every single one of them from the start of their programming to where they are now, or where they are at the time of the Run Pain Free ambassador announcement. And I really want you to, I encourage everybody to look at that ambassador page, because they are real people who are just like you, who have gone through it, and they're relatable. You can relate to them, and that's why they're ambassadors, because they're relatable, and they've helped hundreds of runners in their own right by sharing their programming, sharing their knowledge with their groups, with all their different running groups. That was for you, Yolanda. I don't know if it's Yolanda or Yolanda. I hope I said it right. Sorry, I hope I answered your question. Kimberly, my girl in Florida, my big girl in Florida. She started running mostly with her quads again and having issues with her hips. Well, because when you're running with your quads, every step of your run, it's 2.2 pounds of pressure per step. So you're building muscle the entire time you're running. It's just over a longer period of time, so you don't see it as quickly as you do for, you got it, you're welcome. For seeing as you do like a regular workout. It's over a longer period of time. Problem is, by the time you realize you've been building this muscle, it's dysfunctionally built muscle. So when you're running with your quads, the largest muscle group in the body, that's just an indicator that nothing on your backside is working. Your glutes aren't working, your hamstrings aren't extending, and you don't have any push off. You have no core happening. Everything is leaning towards the quads, which means you're probably toe striking, and toe strikers make up the majority of injured runners, because it's humanly impossible mechanically to run on your toes for, I love you too, Shell. Hi, Sheldon. Sheldon is he's my most severe runner of 2015 or 2016. He just went through a great ordeal, and we're happy that he's doing well. Happy to see you on here, Shell. What was I saying? So when your quads are rolling forward, when your quads are doing all the running for you, you start to build out this muscle that becomes too heavy for your little hip flexor to handle, and too much weight bearing on your knee joint. By the way, knee pain is never from the knees. It's just result of, it's in a bad spot. It's in the midline of the leg, the most vulnerable part of your leg, like your elbow, most vulnerable part of your arm. So it just is in a sucky spot, and it gets the heat of a lot of crap that you're doing everywhere else but your knee. So just a sidebar. So Kimberly, we need you to are you foam rolling? Are you not activating? Are you not doing your work? We need to do an online session and see what's going on, my girl. Now I normally do a Florida event at Christmas time. We go down to visit family, and we make time during our family visit once a year to do a Florida event. I do not think we'll be able to do it this year, just logistically. So I'm going to be down there, Kimberly, anybody who's on here from Florida, hey, I'm going to be down there, but I'm not sure if we'll be able to do anything just because of logistics. But I do want to get an online session with you, because that's unacceptable. Nobody who knows me should have hip pain. Sorry. So you need to be when you have if you're running in your quads, guys, you really need to look at your feet and what's promoting you to go forward. If you're not hitting your heel, you need to roll through your foot. So if you're not able to do this with your foot, you're not igniting the chain of events that happens in your body from that stick shift of your foot dictating mobility. So, yes, Kimberly, yes, do that. So, with Kimberly, she was toe striking. We got her to come out of it a little bit, but she's not been through full correction. So, Kimberly, I'm going to use you as an example. She's not been through full correction, which we do online. We've trained people all over the globe, literally. So when you don't complete the correction, you don't get corrected. So it's important for her that I get with her, get consistent, and get her on a regimen where she's following the program. Because again, guys, we're literally retraining your body how to operate. We're retraining your mechanics. We're looking at things that have never worked properly or at all, getting them to work properly, or tell them to fire for the first time, and your body goes bananas. So we have to stay on top of that. It's a lot of on top of. When I was in my own correction 10, 11 years ago, I was not a happy person. I was very annoyed. It was slow. It was repetitive. I was aggravated. I was used to throwing big weight, working out with the guys all the time, throwing kettlebells and this and that. But you really do have to take it slow, and you really do have to get all those little itty bitty steps done first so that you can get the big part of it. So Kimberly, it's really important that we get on and get some consistency between us, so because I don't want this happening to you anymore. Hey, Carnell. So the toe striking myth, and I'm gonna say this. Let me sidebar. Please check out my podcast, the Run Pain Free podcast. It's on iTunes. It's on SoundCloud, but it's on iTunes. Please go check it out. I go over a lot of these things, and we have about, I think, 15 more about to drop. Please subscribe so you get notice of them. I give a plethora of information that you're not going to hear on TV, you're not going to hear online, you're not going to hear in magazines, because I'm here for the people. I want you all running actually pain-free. I'm not here just to join the billion-dollar industry. Yes, we need to make a living, but we really do want to give you proper information so you have the tools to stay mobile and active for as long as you so choose. That is my purpose. That's what I'm doing here. So, toe striker, here's what happened. Track and field, running coaches are trained in track and field. Track and field is sprinting, it's hurdles, it's not long distance running. It is track and field to marathon running is what basketball is to football. They're totally different sports. So years and years and years and years and years ago, 60 plus years ago, 70 years ago, running coaches were training long distance runners as track and field coaches. So everything was sprinting, speed work, toe heavy, quad heavy, toe heavy. All these runners started to get injured. They went to podiatrist. Podiatrist started seeing a trend. Oh, runners are toe strikers. So hey, sneaker industry, make a thicker sneaker that only allows them that forces them to run on their toes, but gives them all this extra cushion. So the sneaker industry took that and ran with it. Everybody but Nike, the creator of running sneakers, by the way. So the running sneaker industry ran with it and has formulated a plethora of myths and misinformation that has shaped the running community. I said it. I've been saying things that are just coming out now for 20 years that you shouldn't be doing, or that I started saying 20 years ago that no one listened to me about. It's coming out now. So this is what's going on. There is a very specific marathon training coach that Roadrunners in New York puts on for a certification. There's a specific marathon running coach certification. That is marathon training. Running coaches it's track and field, it's sprinting, it's shorter distance, it's track work, even hurdles, if you will. It's a very different sport. So when we're looking at the lineage of why toe striking became the norm, that's where it's from. 100 years ago, I'm being exaggerative, but years and years and years ago, it started to formulate that. When you look at the mechanics of the human body, how you walk is how you should be running. Now, this is not, when we're talking about running and long distance running, guys, it's hours and hours and hours. So you need to be doing what the human body does naturally for hours and hours and hours. The human body does not walk on toes for hours and hours and hours. Even people who walk on their toes and prance around, because there's people that bop on their toes, they're not walking for 26.2 miles on their toes. That's not going to happen. They're going to get injured before that happens. I promise you, it's not going to happen. Not to mention, I encourage you to go sit in a park somewhere where there's runners and sit down and watch. When you see a toe striker, look at their feet. One toe will be hitting and the other will be mid-foot or heel strike. That's called the limp run, because it's impossible to double toe strike for a long period of time. It's not possible. At one point, another foot is going to drop, because that's what ignites the mechanical chain for the backside of your body to actually fire. Usain Bolt has never ran more than a mile for a reason. So we need to start getting these things logically, and you need to run like you walk, and that is using your full friggin' foot. Your whole foot has to work. As soon as your heel touches the ground, your butt literally fires. Literally. So once I get that, I don't force you to heel strike. I release all the restriction from your body, mechanically readjust, fire, load, and then say go run. And I watch you, and you naturally do it. And when you don't do it, you feel it, because it feels wrong. It feels wrong because your body is now aligned and firing and ready to run, and you didn't allow it to because you hit your toes. So your body will tell you what's right and what's wrong when you give it the proper tools. It is amazing what the body can do when you have proper tools. Amazing. Sheldon saying I should think about writing a book. The information that I have is so important to share, and writing a book that I self-publish will be great for American community. Thank you so much, Sheldon. I appreciate it. I did write a book on how to, it's called The Runner's Guide to Knee Pain. It's on Amazon. It's basically a tutorial of step-by-step process on how to find where your knee pain specifically is coming from. So I am already a published author, but yes, Sheldon, I have thought about publishing all of my works and my articles into a book format. And my PhD student client right here, you can help me put it together. But yes, thank you so much, Sheldon. I am thinking about it. It's definitely in my head to put it all on paper. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for appreciating my information so much. As a seasoned marathoner, I appreciate that. And as an educator, thank you so much. So there's a lot of misconceptions that have happened, and in my world, I want to fix every runner. I can help anybody who comes across my path. All I need is time, and I'll fix you. I believe that. And I stop at nothing to do that and to achieve that. If you have not completed the Run Pain Free program and stopped midpoint, you're not corrected, and I don't deem you corrected, and I'm very open about that, because my results are very important to me and for me to give you. So I want to make sure we're always in the same page. So I really do want to give information and help as many people as I possibly can. And there's a lot of misconceptions that have shaped the running community that can really help thousands and thousands of people just stay moving and stay running and stay active and stay balanced. Because as runners, we all know how much it calms our minds and relaxes our body and our daily stresses, and it's our release. For most people, it's a release. It's the only time you get for yourself. I know what it is to be sidelined and not be able to do that. That's another reason why runners come to me. Yes, I'm an expert in my field, but I am a product of my expertise. And I do know what it is to be a runner who can't run. I know what it is to be a dancer who can't dance. I also played powder puff, guys. First string quarterback, 2 years in a row. I don't care. It's very important to me. I love my powder puff days. So I've trained with athletes my whole life, really. And from boxing to weightlifting to volleyball, soccer, football, basketball, baseball, golf, tennis. I've trained all of it. So I really do love and appreciate the human body and what the human body can do when it's given the proper tools. So I just wanted to get on here and really talk about the 9+1. We're really excited about it. We're really excited to minimize the amount of injuries that happen in the 9+1 pocket that is affording you to qualify for the race that you then wind up deferring because you got hurt during the 9+1. So I really want to get ahead of it for everybody. And I'm excited to talk about it, and I'm excited to answer questions as always. The next few weeks, I'm probably going to get on live a few times. So follow the page, share this. All of you guys that are on it, please share it, follow the page. Because I want people to be able to come on and ask questions real time and get their answers by an expert who's knowing what they're talking about when it comes to injuries and getting the most out of your body and getting the best potential out of your body so you can see it. I don't see any new messages, so I'm going to call it. Message us, comment, get on our site, message me if you want to know about the 9+1 program. But everybody that's on here that did mention these injuries and pain, please reach out to me to get your a consult as soon as possible. Right now is the best time to get consults and get configured in the system now, so we can get ahead of whatever you have coming up for January and 2019. All right, guys, thank you so much for sitting with me. I spent another long time on here, but I hope you're all having a great day. Stay warm out there in New York. It's rainy everywhere else. I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.